Hey guys, happy Monday, April 1st. I thought about doing a live where it was like a April Fool's joke. I couldn't think of a good one. So anyway, today is, before you post on social media, you need to think about this. Seriously, if you're new in business, then you definitely need to hear today's live, my little tip, passing on what I have done and hopefully what you will not do. Because I've learned better. When you learn better, you do better, right? When you know better, you do better. Before I get started, though, I always say I'm going to do my hair and makeup, but I tried to fit my workout in, and I was working all morning, and I'm usually going to get my kids, and oh well. Also, I wanted to show you guys. So, how many of us have a product, and all you do is you post about the product? So, I do not wear glasses. I actually have, don't need them, but if you are building your business on social media and you have stared at a screen more than you used to, then you should get these blue blockers, right? So this is a perfect example of what not to do. All right, so I've been wearing blue blockers for like not quite a year. So if I was posting about this product, which it's not my product, but it's an example, I could say they block blue light, they are certified by this, they have this, they come with the case, they have, a cleaner in it, they're certified, they're scientifically yada, 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 right? And how many of you guys have seen that? You've posted that about your product. It's here's my shake, and it has this and this and this and this and this, and you tell about all of the ingredients and what it is, and instead of what it can do. And if you'll notice, when people do that, you'll see crickets. And it's interesting to me when I follow people, when you post about your product and you just hear crickets, because usually the only couple of people that have liked it are people already in the business. So instead of posting, this is my product, this is what I want, put what it does. So for me, if this was my product, then I could say, these are amazing, because how many of you guys have started building your business more online and you're staring at a screen more and your eyes, you've noticed, have started to get tired? Or you've had like eye fatigue, or you're like blinking really long, because that's what I used to do. Or even headaches. How many of you guys feel like you're getting headaches? And then go, oh my gosh, you need these. These are amazing. And then you show them that way. So you tell what it does instead of what it is. So that's kind of my side note today, is don't tell what your product is, tell what your product does. Because if you're just getting on social media and you're saying, this is my product, this is what it is, no one is going to buy that from you. No, they're going to go Google it. If it's something they're maybe looking for, then maybe, but you're probably going to hear crickets. And if you are posting on social media consistently, which you should be doing, you really need to pay attention to your likes and your engagements per what your posts are about. So when you're posting on social media, let's get into it now. This is really what I wanted to share and educate. Side note, but I did want to demonstrate, the thing about the products. But when you're posting either probably for 3 reasons, especially if it's on a business page. But in general, you're posting to educate or to empower. You're posting to inspire in some way, or you're posting to entertain. So if you're posting to entertain, especially if it's your like personal page and you're putting pictures of your family up or sharing kind of what you're doing, right? That's entertaining. And for most people on Facebook, they want to be entertained. They get on there to socialize. They don't want to see your business or your product in their face. They just really want to be entertained. So if you're on there and your post is about education, then you're leading with value. So when you're posting on social media, then you definitely need to think about the content that you're posting. Hi, Dominic. Thanks for the emoji. But think about your content if you're posting. So instead of saying, this is my product, this is what it is, you need to lead with value and say, this is what this has done for me. And then a lot of us have learned to use, curiosity. I feel like even people that have gone old school and even just moved to social media, they kind of get the idea of that curiosity factor. But don't just throw something up for the sake of throwing it up. So a lot of people, get their team, they're building on social media, and they say, oh, you got to post every single day. Don't always post about your business, blah, 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 but find some way to sneak it in there. People know, you guys, like even if you're in a VIP group as a customer for them, you kind of know. So give people a reason to follow you. Give people a reason, by giving some sort of value, whether that's inspiring them. I'm a big quote. If you've seen anything on my page, I love quotes. But maybe that doesn't resonate with everyone. So maybe you need to, share something that you've learned from the product. So instead of sharing that, share what you've learned from using that. Does that make sense? So that you're leading with value instead of asking for sales, because people read through that. They can see through you in a heartbeat. When you're in groups, a lot of people have groups like customer care groups. I don't click in those very often unless I'm like specifically remembering that I need whatever the group is that I'm in. There's no reason for me to be in that group. But if I know that that group is posting things that I can relate to as a customer or as a prospect or whatever it is, then I'm more likely to click in there because the content in there is better. So instead of just and we're all guilty of this, I'm totally guilty of this. Instead of just throwing up a post and saying, well, check that off my list of things done today, really taking the time to create some valuable content is really going to give people a reason to come and check your stuff out, right? Because you're not just putting what your product is and you're not asking them for a sale. You're getting them to relate to you, which is what social media is. It's supposed to be social, you guys. All right, my second tip, and it's not as tedious as that one, is the trends. Are you following the trends on social media? Because if you're not, you're missing out. I think most of us have learned and heard that, right? If you're watching this Facebook Live, whether it's a replay or live, then you know that Facebook shows your lives to other people. So for instance, my page is all about really trying to help other people that are building a business. I really do try to help people as much as I can and educating them, right? Empowering them, inspiring them, sharing, oh my gosh, this is what I've done. Don't do this. Save you some time. Here's a shortcut, right? Leading with that value. But you also have to follow the trends. So if you're posting a post and it's this stock image of your company or whatever, maybe it doesn't have you in it, maybe it does, but you're not doing lives and you're not doing stories, you're missing people. Whether it's your Facebook business page or whether it's your organic reach on your personal page. If you are not embracing those, then you got to get over it, right? So, my thing on doing the lives is, usually I'm coming from or going to the gym, but I cannot let that stop me from sharing the purpose of what this page is, right? Is to educate and encourage other people. So whatever your reason is, remember your 3 reasons to post, you're educating and empowering, you're inspiring them, or you're entertaining them. One of the easiest ways to do that, instead of throwing up some pre-done, I think schedules are great. Like I pre-schedule a lot of my content. But that being said, there's nothing like a live when you're writing it out there and you're really giving people value and they walk away with going, wow. And it's not so much about getting a sale or your product or whatever it is. They will naturally be attracted to that. So make sure that you're following, because Facebook's the algorithms. Hi, Jody. They are going to like you better if you're using the trends. So if you're doing Facebook Lives, Facebook goes, ooh, we like this. And they're going to show your stuff to more people. If you are using Facebook stories, if you've even tried it, and when people comment, it goes to your messenger. So it's all about the messenger. So for me, a lot of times, it's not about your likes, guys. It's not about that. It's about who's actually engaged that you're reaching, whether that's through Messenger or through your lives or whatever that may be. Make sure that you stay up on the trends, because that will improve your algorithm, and Facebook likes that. And when they like that, they will show your stuff to more people, whether that's your business page or, like I said, your personal organic reach. My third tip for today is to find your own voice. And this one I'm totally guilty of, and it now is a pretty big pet peeve of mine. Okay, so how many of us, all right, drop me an emoji. You guys, drop me an emoji if you have seen, if your company has like a post and you all of a sudden, because you have a lot of Facebook friends, you'll see that same post everywhere from all social media from your company. I'm totally guilty of it. Yep, I see them. So, and sometimes that's okay, right? Like, oh, this celebrity has this and this and this. Look, they used our stuff. And everyone copies the same. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place for that. But what I do encourage you to do is don't copy and paste what that person wrote, because that is from them. That is not your personality on that post at all. And people read through that. You guys, they do. And then what happens is I'll see the same post and I'll see the same writing. And so I used to in the beginning, like totally guilty, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Then I would start creating my own content and I'd start seeing my content on other people's. And that's fine. Like I encourage my team, I'd rather them put something up than nothing. However, that being said, I encourage you guys to find your own voice on social media. Even if you use the same image, you move it over, or even if it's just a stock image quote, write your own, like what it means to you, or what you've learned from that today, or why. Remember, when going back to number one, instead of putting what it is, put what it does. Why, or more in depth about what that does. Does that make sense? Because you want to brand yourself. You don't want to brand your company. You don't want to brand anything that you're not in charge of. So you're branding yourself. Give people a reason on social media to follow you. So when you add your own voice, they're going to read that that's more authentic, right? That's more real. And they're not going to get that from a company. And the company, that is not their main goal, right? They have all of these distributors or these reps or whatever, and they're teaching you, okay, well, here's what we want you to use. Here's your approved images. Here's your approved whatever you can or cannot say. And you have to fit in those guidelines. What your job is, and Jody, I know you were asking about this. What your job is, especially when you're building on social media, is to find your voice, your brand, pick 3 to 5 things, and this is a whole nother live I think I've done, and I should do another one, that you stand for and that you're super passionate about. So for me, I've become really passionate about helping people build correctly on social media, right? Or online. So find that, because then people get to know you. And then when they see your post and they're like, oh, I saw that because so-and-so also does, this is in this company, and they see the same post, or they see it and they're like, oh, that sounds really scripted, or that doesn't, it doesn't ring true. So really finding your own voice, because we've all seen those posts. So if you're going to put a quote up, add even like one line. Like sometimes I'm guilty of just saying, thanks, Dominic. So share yourself, share your message. So don't worry about the likes, worry about your engagement. Facebook will show you that if you've got a business page. Messenger is where it's at. I'm reading my notes. I want to make sure you guys get them. Asking questions. I know some of you guys have done that, but what I have found is pay attention to the questions that you're asking. If I'm too vague, then people don't comment. But if I ask something specific, then they will. Right? Like sometimes you get those little stupid, like where it says, are you this, 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 and this? And you're like, oh my gosh, but then you can't help to answer because it gives you A, B, C, or D. But if I said, what animal most likely describes you? Then you might be like, oh, I have no idea, because it's so overwhelming because of all of the choices. So when you're asking those questions and you're providing that content and you want a response so that you're getting something in Messenger, first of all, you give them a call to action. You tell them what you want them to do if you're wanting the engagement. And second of all, if you're asking that question, make sure it's specific and pay attention to what people respond to. Because if you'll go back and look at your post, don't just throw it up never to again be seen. Go back and look at the ones that you're like, oh, that was crickets. And chances are they have a lot in common. And then there will be other ones where you're like, okay, so I noticed that I got a lot of likes on this. Maybe I should do more posts on that. Or I got a lot of engagements on this one, so maybe my audience seems to like that. And so I will provide value or ask for more questions like that. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, can you just tell me? Be like, yes, that makes sense. Because social media is social and they want the interaction. And so if you want people to see you on Facebook, they want you to be interacting. So look at that. So my goal on this page, you guys, hopefully you found this super helpful, is to help encourage you, to help inspire you in your business, and to educate you on what I believe I'm learning with my business partners and mentors and what's working in my business right now. So be current, be in the trends. It's one thing to build old school, but you've got to stay with the times. And I just got off a video chat with someone that we were talking about staying relevant. And she's like, I really like building old school, but belly to belly and connecting with people. And I'm like, well, that's great, but what is your biggest challenge? Well, almost every single person, if you're in network marketing, it's finding new people to talk to. So the easiest way to find new people is to get on social media. The problem is most people do it wrong. And if that is a skill set that you lack, it is something that you have to work at to get better at that skill set before you're able to connect with people, because they still have to know, like, and trust you. And so what's the easiest way to convey and to do that on social media? And that's what you need to be thinking about when you're posting your content on social media. So think about that, lead with value, and I hope you guys found this super helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.